What's going on, traders? Just want to give you guys a quick update on my thoughts when it comes to the overall market. So let's get straight into it. So right now we're looking at the SPY 4-hour time frame, and the key level that we talked about in the last video is 682.1. As long as you stay above 682.1, the doors are open to 685. Highest I'm looking at is 689.9, your previous highs. Now, one thing I want to warn you guys about is that you are in bearish territory between 683 and 689.9. And what I mean by that is if you zoom out and look to the left, you got a lot of bearish candles here. You got a lot of bearish wicks here. You got a lot of turbulence within this area. Me personally, I do believe that you're going to see a significant pullback sometime this week. I can't tell you exactly when. If I had to throw a dart gun to my head, I would assume sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday is where we're going to see some significant pullback within the market. I could be wrong. There's no way for me to know that for sure, so take that with a grain of salt. But as long as we stay above 682.1, I do expect a little bit more upside and a slow grind towards 685. Now, when we look at cheddar flow, and this is subject to change, so take this with a grain of salt as well. There's a massive call wall at 683. Again, this can change at market open. So, again, take this with a grain of salt. I can't stress that enough. So 683, you want to pay attention to here. You stay above 683, there's a good chance that we can just slow grind towards that 685 target, which it really isn't saying much. I mean, we're not too far off from that target. So that's what you want to pay attention to in regards to upside when it comes to the SPY. Again, be careful between 683 and 689.9 if we manage to get that high. Now, in regards to downside, your key levels is obviously 682.1, 680, 679.5. If you manage to break below 679.5 and hold, then chances are you're heading towards 675, and then lowest I'm looking at is 672 for the short term. So definitely be careful within this range here once we get down here, because if we manage to break below 670, then I do believe you're going to see a significant pullback towards the 660s more or less. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to downside in regards to the SPY. Triple Qs. Now, triple Qs looks a lot better than the SPY in regards to upside. And a key level that we talked about multiple times in the past is 613. As long as you stay above 613, then there's a good chance you're going to see a pretty decent rip towards the upside. 613, 617, you stay above both those key levels, then chances are you're heading towards 623. From there, you're looking at a move towards 626, 627. And then from there, you're looking at a move towards this gap fill at around 629, 630, more or less. So Triple Qs has a decent amount of space towards the upside, but again, once you get within the range of 623 and 627, I urge you to be cautious. Actually 629, because there is a gap fill here. So once you get within this area here, be careful. Again, you look to the left. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this. A lot of bearish structure, a lot of bearish wicks, guys. So be careful here. Me personally, I'm not looking to swing any calls this week. I'm going to take profit when I see it. If I do swing calls, I will have pretty decent contracts, maybe like January contracts, March contracts, something like that. But for now, I will be careful. Okay, I will be careful. Again, I do expect some type of pullback sometime this week. Now, why do I say that? Well, one, again, if we look at the SPY and the triple Qs, you're in dangerous territory, right? But historically, and I showed you guys this in the last video, historically after Thanksgiving week, you are pretty bearish more often than not. Again, more often than not. This is not 100% or anything like that. And history is not set to repeat itself. But if we're going off historical data here, Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, well, kind of Thursday, and Fridays are really bearish when it comes to the overall market. So you don't have to follow this. You don't have to believe this. I mean, we were on point when it comes to Thanksgiving week. Historically, Thanksgiving week is bullish. So, do what you want with this information. Screenshot it, keep it in the back of your mind. But again, do not marry any upside at this point. I think it's pretty dangerous to do so. That's just my personal opinion. Do what you want. All right. So when it comes to the triple Qs, let's get back to the triple Qs because I kind of rambled off there. Triple Qs, again, your key level here is 613. When it comes to downside, you stay above 613. You're pretty bullish. 613, 617, 623, and then from there, you're looking at a move towards 626, 627, and then from there, you're looking at this gap fill here at around 629, 630. If you manage to get below 613, then the floodgates open to 610, and then from there, the lowest you could possibly go is back to that 595 level. So you definitely want to pay attention to the triple Qs when it comes to that 613 level. As long as you stay above that level, I think you're fine. If you get below 617, I would say be neutral. Okay, that's just me. If you get below 613, then I think it's time to be bearish. If you stay above 617, then by all means be bullish. All right, that's just me. All right, so that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the triple Qs. I think I went over everything in regards to the triple Qs. Another thing that I want to go over is Bitcoin here. So when it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is just having a very hard time getting above 92K. I mean, even then, even if you get above 92K, you still have to get above 93K as well. So Bitcoin is just really having a hard time here. What I will say is that Bitcoin is forming bullish structure, which is a good sign here. But again, I've said this before. I'm no longer interested in Bitcoin until it gets back within the 100K. And even then, you still have this massive level at 107K. So until that happens, and let me actually show you guys how significant 107K is. So if we zoom in here, right? You bounced here, you had multiple bounces here, you attempted to bounce here, you broke down, you retested the level of 107K, and then that's when the whole falling knife happened. All right, so 107K is very significant. Until we get above that level, I'm just not interested in Bitcoin. All right. Um, Maybe there's some hope if you get above 100K, then we can start really talking about Bitcoin. But for now, just not interested in it down here. Okay. Again, you're forming some type of bullish structure, but this looks like it could turn into some type of double bottom. So maybe you do one of these, boom, and then head back to the upside. But for now, again, not interested in Bitcoin. That's just me. All right. Another thing I want to go over is gold. So my target for gold right now, which I think it already hit actually when the market opened or futures market opened, was 4,230. It looks like it hit that target. So yeah, 4,230 is what I was looking at for gold. If gold can get above 4,250, then I think you're at that point you're heading towards previous highs. You're very illiquid. If you zoom out and look to the left, you're very illiquid towards this key level of 4,340, and then highs you're looking at is basically previous highs. So that's something you want to pay attention to when it comes to gold. A stock that I'm very interested in right now is Apple, crazy enough. So when we look at the daily time frame here, and it's crazy because I was actually bearish on Apple, but we ended up breaking even on that play. But right here, where these bears are, you broke and closed above these guys at around 677 when it comes to Apple. And we saw Friday that Apple was having a very hard time breaking below or breaking and holding below 677. As long as you stay above 677, Apple can head towards 293. So I do believe that that's going to happen as long as Apple stays above 277. If you look at Cheddar Flow, there's a lot of calls that came in for Apple. Specifically, I'm interested in these January 16th, 2026 calls, these 290 strike calls here. I'm very interested in these come tomorrow's open. We'll see how tomorrow open looks, and I will definitely be looking to jump into these plays as long as Apple stays above 277. So this is something you definitely want to pay attention to when it comes to Apple. I'm really liking Apple here. Again, I think it's going to see more upside given that the market is bullish, and we can start seeing a move towards 293 at minimum, maybe 283. But that's what I'm looking at when it comes to Apple. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, when it comes to the historical data that we talked about, right? This is the last thing we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to get you guys up out of here, right? Well, we talked about historically what happens after Thanksgiving week and how after Thanksgiving week you tend to be bearish, right? One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that I don't know what catalyst is going to cause a whole week of bearishness, but what I will say is that Jerome Powell does speak tomorrow at 8 p.m. I think this is a weird time to talk, and there's rumors of him saying that he's going to resign or talking about that he's going to resign. I don't think that's going to be the case. I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But it's such a weird time for him to speak. All right, and maybe I'm missing something here. I didn't look into this or on what he's speaking about. Maybe he's just showing up to some college. Sometimes he does that, but I think this is very interesting here, and this could be the catalyst that pretty much starts the whole historical bearish week. We'll see. But for now, I don't see a reason to be really bearish, right? And that obviously can change. I'm just not seeing a reason to be bearish right now. And again, maybe something happens overnight that I'm missing here. So, respect the levels, see how the futures market reacts overnight. Obviously, my thesis can change or my opinion can change, and then we'll see what happens from there. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear what you think. WAP, this will be the last Black Friday sale when it comes to our Discord. I just want to point that out real quick. So, take advantage of it. It is only $40 a month right now. It's originally $60 a month, so take advantage of it. This will be the last day that this is available. So, do what you want to do with that. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.